James Harden to the Philadelphia 76ers? That's the latest rumor from Shams Charania of The Athletic. He says there is interest expected to be had from the Philadelphia 76ers in pursuing a James Harden trade. But right now, the Rockets aren't set on sending him anywhere anytime soon. Another report also recently came out that Philly is not looking to deal Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons, so don't expect them to be in any kind of offers that would land James Harden on the Philadelphia 76ers. Now here's Charania's exact quote where the report came from. Obviously, one of the most well-respected NBA reporters says, I'm told Philadelphia is expected to be interested in and pursue James Harden, the Rocket star who Daryl Morey has a history with, but as will other teams also express interest. As of right now, it is an emphatic no from the Rocket side. It's really a non-starter for that organization. Charania went on to say that Daryl Morey has a history of being active on the trade market, pursuing the different opportunities that may exist out there, and I wouldn't expect it to be any different now that he's in Philadelphia. So as he's referring to there, of course, Daryl Morey is now involved in the basketball operations of the Philadelphia 76ers. They've also given an extension to GM Elton Brand for a multi-year contract. So now those two are going to look to team up and try to land former Daryl Morey's player, James Harden, in Philadelphia to play with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think the Rockets are really going to listen to Harden offers, but should they be listening to Harden offers? Type T if you think they should trade him. Type P if they should pass and go ahead and keep him in a Rockets uniform. I think they'd be crazy to not at least listen. They haven't gone very far with him at the head of their team. He and Russell Westbrook didn't work out that well in the first year that they actually played together. They need to at least listen to trade offers for James Harden. But at the end of the day, I would expect them to hold on. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Type that T for trade or type that P for pass. And while you're doing that, let me tell you about our friends over at Fanatics hooking you up with a sweet deal. All of our NBA fans, whoever you're a fan of, they've got a mask ready for you at chatsports.com/NBA mask. Machine washable, a bunch of different styles and a bunch of different packs as well. You can get one, packs of 2, 3, or 4 over at Fanatics at chatsports.com/NBA mask. So whether you're a Warriors fan or a Houston Rockets fan or a Philadelphia 76ers fan, heck, maybe they got some Charlotte Bobcats and Supersonics up there for you as well. Go check them out over at Fanatics. One more time, that link is chatsports.com/NBA mask. If you can't remember that, 1, it's on screen. 2, it'll be in the comments. And 3, it'll be in the description of this video. No excuse to not go get one today. Let's keep talking about James Harden here. Came in, I believe, 3rd in MVP voting this past year. 34 points per game, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, 36% from 3. He's obviously going to have a very high demand for a trade scenario to get him anywhere that's not the Houston Rockets. Because 34 points, that's the best in the league. He can score the ball at will, and he can get it done in multiple different ways. Not to mention, the guy gets to the free throw line like it's his job. And he has consistently become one of the best players in the NBA offensively. And his defense, although it is memeable at times, he's not that bad. He can handle the ball. He passes it well. The problem is, he hasn't gone very far in the playoffs with this Houston team. Now, some of that's his fault. Some of that's the fault of the teams around him. You look in 2016, back when this whole experiment really kind of started getting off the ground, he loses in the first round. Then he goes on to lose in the conference semifinals. Then 2018, of course, famously lose in the conference finals as Chris Paul suffers that injury, and they get bounced out by the Warriors. 2019, back to the conference semifinals. Then again this year, they win in the first round against the Oklahoma City Thunder, although that series went 7 games, and then they lose in the conference semifinals. Things aren't working in Houston. Maybe it's time to get something else different. So, you know me. You know how Jimmy likes to roll here. I like to come up with these trade scenarios, so I came up with the best one I could come up with that didn't involve Ben Simmons and did not involve Joel Embiid. The Sixers get the MVP candidate in James Harden. The Rockets, and take a deep breath and buckle in because this is a big-time trade. They get Al Horford, they get Josh Richardson, Shake Milton, Zhaire Smith, and Matisse Thybulle. Now, you look at those players all together, solid role pieces. I think Al Horford on the right team is actually going to be a good player still. I like Josh Richardson. He's owed a little bit over $10 million over the next 2 years. Shake Milton could be a good backup point guard to Russell Westbrook. Zhaire Smith still kind of recovering from his weird injuries, but he's finally started to prove that he's worth the first-round pick. And Matisse Thybulle is a guy who I love and was one of the best defenders coming out of last year's draft. But what the Rockets really want now is draft picks. So they get number 21, number 34, and number 36, all from the Sixers this year alone to bolster up their depth. And then they get 2 future first-round picks in 2022 and 2024. Because, of course, of the Stepien rule, you cannot trade back-to-back first-round picks. So the Sixers can only give up this year's, and then 2 years from now, and then 2 years after that. And that's what the Rockets would have to settle for in exchange for this man right here, the beard, James Harden. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but who do you think says no? Do you think the Rockets say no because they don't want to give up an MVP candidate? Or do you think the Sixers say no because they don't want to give up so many future assets and so many current assets as well? Type R if you think it's the Rockets. Type S if you think it's the Sixers. And let me say this. No matter who gets traded, because somebody's bound to get traded this offseason, no matter who changes teams in free agency, no matter who gets drafted number 1 overall in this year's draft, we're going to have it for you right here on Chat Sports. I love doing all this NBA stuff for you guys. You NBA fans, hey, you're way smarter than the NFL fans here we have on Chat Sports, so I appreciate you guys. So I'm trying to up our overall IQ of our fan base here at Chat Sports by getting you NBA fans to subscribe. So hit that subscribe button below. Also, turn on your notifications because we're putting out videos every 3 hours at this point in the offseason. So you're going to want to hit that notification bell. Make sure you're subscribed to Chat Sports. Now let's look at this lineup with Ben Simmons at the point guard position. James Harden, he gets a true shooter next to him at the 2 guard. Tobias Harris is your starting forward. I guess you put Mike Scott, not Dunder Mifflin's Mike Scott, but the other Mike Scott in at power forward. And, of course, Joel Embiid in the middle. Doesn't matter who plays power forward. Let's look at these 4 guys. This is your starting, really your big 4. Because you have an elite offensive player in James Harden who can also get you a triple-double on any given night. You've got an elite defender in Ben Simmons who is a great passer and finishes around the rim better than any guard, quote-unquote, in the league. You have Joel Embiid, arguably the 2nd or 3rd best big man in the NBA, along with guys like Karl-Anthony Towns and Nikola Jokic. And you have a Tobias Harris. Yes, he's overpaid, but he's overpaid as a kind of bad 3rd option. If he becomes a 4th option on this team, I'm telling you guys, he's going to become more efficient and a better suited player for Philly. But now let's look over at the Houston Rockets, who would be trading away their franchise player in James Harden. So now you're building around Russell Westbrook, which, as Oklahoma City knows better than anyone, is a very dangerous game to play. But if you can get good role players around him, maybe it works out. However, the problem with this starting 5 with Russell Westbrook, Josh Richardson, Matisse Thybulle, Al Horford, and Robert Covington, it's not enough shooters around Russell Westbrook. Now, on the bench as well, you can move Eric Gordon to a 6-man role that he's more comfortable in. Shake Milton becomes a backup point guard to replace an Austin Rivers. Zhaire Smith is a good athlete off the bench. You move Tucker and Daniel House Jr. to the bench as well. Not to mention your 3 draft picks that you would be able to add this year, and maybe, just maybe, Houston can find some elite players. Now, that team right there, I think, gets you probably a 7 or 8 seed in the Western Conference. But if you're moving James Harden, you're looking to build toward the future. And that's what all those draft picks do. So what I want you guys to do now, because we're talking about Harden to the 76ers, I want you guys to make a prediction. Where will James Harden be playing next season? Will it be Houston? Will it be Philly? Will it be some other team that comes calling and offers something bigger? Let me know in the comment section your prediction. I'm going to stick with the Houston Rockets for now. I'm going to play it safe and a little bit boring, but maybe Philly has enough to offer. Maybe that trade that I offered gets it done, or maybe Philly's even like, no, that's too much. I want you guys to let me know what you would offer for James Harden in the comment section. Let me know who says no to my trade scenario. I don't think he's going anywhere, but this is a situation we're going to be monitoring here on Chat Sports all offseason long, so make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell.